Kumakelema bugadu fola. Alfata iroluma. Iromune molete bango kang. Yeah, molu. Alkana bege bango iride oti. Fonga la la la.
The Gambia is one of the smallest countries on mainland Africa. With a population of over 1.5 million people, the country has a total land area of 10,466 square kilometers. The natural vegetation formations are categorized into woodlands and natural savanna. Wetlands consisting of mangroves, barren flats and freshwater swamps constitute about 17% of the country's total land area. The small West African country have experienced some significant transformations on its natural land cover, a depletion that lasted for over a century and a half. This drastic change on the environment is due to a number of anthropogenic and natural factors. Population growth, uncoordinated farming practices, bushfires, and the continuous search for grazed lands are said to be some of the driving forces behind the change of the country's land cover.
We are restoring our damaged ecosystem. In the Gambia, we have lost vast hectares of our ecosystem, our forested lands, and also our wetlands that used to thrive very well. They used to be home to a lot of terrestrial and marine ecosystems.
We are more powerful than we think. If we have come to a point where we have dug up so much carbon from the ground and polluted the atmosphere that is causing these climatic changes, I believe that we also have the same knowledge to actually, remove that carbon from it. If we have gone to the moon, why can't we remove CO2 from the atmosphere?
From independence in 1965, the country conducted 2 forest inventory and mapping. The first was carried out in the 1980s and the later in 1993. The exercise provided the Forestry Department decision makers and those national and international planners committed to forestry development in the Gambia with relevant information about the state of the Gambian forest.
As our people say, all the leaves of the trees mention the names of Allah. So if you transplant a lot of trees, how many leaves did that tree have? So if all those leaves are calling the names of Allah, you are blessed. You are blessed. So there's a lot of reward in it. So I think everybody should take it upon themselves and then try to participate very well. We take ownership. We try to be very much serious on our environment. Let's try to be very, very much serious on our environment. Let's always take lead. The youth should always take lead in environmental management. We should take lead. The environment belongs to us.
Almost 4 decades and a half, the country now reassesses itself. The focus now lies on how far we have gone in the protection of our forest cover from further exploitation. Are the end users of forest resources sustainably utilizing these gifts of nature to the interests of the generations yet unborn?
The fastest and most efficient way to offset our carbon footprint is actually to plant more mangroves, because a hectare of mangroves can absorb up to 5 kilograms of carbon. So you can imagine how much carbon monoxide and how much carbon we are emitting. So having mangroves ecosystem is really very good for our environment.
The only real solution is actually restoring what's within the environment. A corrugated iron sheets, nail and hammer is still not the solution. It's not going to get us far. No matter how much repairs we do, the repair should be around the surrounding. And this exactly is what this action calls for.
With only about 46% of forest cover, forest resources are still pivotal to the Gambia's socio-economic development. Experts and environmentalists are urging for more mitigation strategies, calling on communities to intensify efforts in tree planting and preserving our already endangered flora and fauna.
The deforestation have taken its toll. Looking at our environment, you can see that deforestation have started taking effect. The best way to combat that is to make sure that we also engage in reforestation activities and afforestation activities, more tree planting, more community foresting, and of course, the VDCs, that's the village development committees, the ward development committees, and the local authorities should make sure that they implement the environmental laws.
Let's come together as one people under one umbrella. And we should also try to see ownership. Let's see ownership, let's participate, let's take care of our environment. The environment belongs to us. You are there tomorrow, you are no more there. So you see, the more we take care of our environment, the more it's good for us.
All citizens, frontline citizens, not just other kinds of civil society, everybody has a role, from children to adult. This is a collective responsibility. And for me personally, we've seen that the forest cover has disappeared. But if we sit back and reflect, how this has happened over the years, then that's the time we will be able to understand exactly what led to this.
For the past 5 decades, the Gambia government and its multilateral partners, such as the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, have led and supported several tree planting exercises across the length and breadth of the country. Today, the survival rate of many of those trees is very low. Yet, through the chainsaw, devastation of the country's rich ecosystems continues at an unprecedented scale.
Tell my fellow young people across there, from Mama Tamba Youth Association to the Great Green Wall Frontline, Green Up Gambia, Gambia Environmental Alliance, let's dare to invent the future, because we are proud of their actions across the continent, the ST Foundation, all of these people, to actually come together and restore our ecosystem once more.
To end all forms of exploitation on our fragile environment, the Gambia government is responding through the initiation of sound environmental policies and programs. Banning the exportation of timber, criminalization of illegal logging, and the encouragement of community forestry concept are among the many mitigation strategies introduced by the government.
We need to ensure that the wild is there, because we replace the wild with the tame. That's why now we no longer have antelopes in our forests. The natural predators like the lions have all disappeared. So all within a short period of our history, a place that used to be 100% forest, today we are crying for forest. That should be a matter of profound shame and should call for direct action from everyone who has been here, at least for the past 2 generations, to actually support this cause and see it to it that it's a responsibility on me to leave the place like how I have found it for my children. But if we continue to use these crude farming systems for so long, where are our children going to farm? On the degraded soils? Where are they going to get their food from? So our systems that we are doing right now is digging the grave for our children in the near future, because so far we are concerned, scientists have put to us that we have less than 60 harvests left. That is less than 60 years of continuous production on this land. If we do not change and rethink the way we produce food, in 2 generations, we will be having a food crisis.
In the Gambia, illegal logging is punishable by law. Through strategic planning and well-informed policies and effective coordination, the Gambia government and its development partners can once again provide that safe environment for trees of all species and wildlife to thrive as enshrined in the Banjul Declaration of 1977.
Alkana beke banko irite oti fonga la la la.